and welcome back to another round of Hammers Racing Community Season number 4 for the GT3 category. We are here at round 8 at Interlagos, 4.309 kilometers around, 2.677 miles. It is 15 corners here, and it's a mid-speed track here for the Balance of Performance, which Balance of Performance got a very minuscule update with a few cars being changed, but only with I will say the only issues with that being it's by 0.001 pp. So unfortunately not a massive change, so no major meta shift like what we had around the time of Interlagos. So a lot of these cars will remain unchanged, and I'm sure the meta has remained unchanged. And yeah, we're gonna get ready for a double header here with 18 laps apiece here around this famous Brazilian circuit. The weather isn't expected to be very sunny here today, so you're not going to see a lot of rain, which Interlagos has kind of become known for in recent years. But anyways, we're just waiting for a few things, and then we're going to go ahead and get started. Once again, my name is Patrick Coleman, aka Rekus, and I'll be your host and commentator here in Division number 1. And once again, after this race is done streaming, and yes, the streams are back, ladies and gentlemen. No more secondhand, either secondhand streams or just straight to YouTube. We are doing the stream, and then we go straight to YouTube from here. And it's lights out, and qualifying is all good to go. Just gonna go ahead and yep, we're all good. So we have 12 drivers currently here today. Lots of different drivers from several different teams. A good amount of car variety here at round number 8. And we have 5 viewers that just all jumped in. So once again, thank you guys so much for tuning on in. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and drop a follow, and then subscribe to our YouTube channel, where this entire race vlog will be uploaded after the events of today's doubleheader. And then you can check out all the other previous races from Division 1 and a pretty decent selection of the Division 2 races. So yeah, we've had some very interesting things here today. The race winner from last time out at Lago Maggiore, Alex, unfortunately got caught out by the update, and so he will not be here for race 1, but he will be here for race 2. So to kind of explain how these doubleheaders do work, it is a singular qualifying session here at Interlagos. But for race 1, it is just business as usual. But the second race is the top 6 positions in the results of race 1 will get swapped, and that will be our starting grid for race number 2. So let's say if the top 6 finish as they are in the race, then Rontalo will start on the pole position for the second race, followed by Vader, Muser, Brent, Berger, and then Crago at the end of it. That is just a representative guess. We'll see how everything does play out. Hopefully you guys are having a fantastic time today, because I know I certainly am. Hopefully these drivers do as well. Interlagos is such a fun track. It's got a lot of tricky corners and a lot of good overtaking opportunities. Sector 3 is really the only part of this track where it is noticeably difficult to overtake on, which is more than what could be said for some of the other circuits that we have went to this season. Mount Panorama comes to mind. There is some good spots on the track, but it can be really tricky throughout the mountain section of that course. But on this track, pretty much everywhere with the exception of turns 8 through 11 are usually really prime overtaking spots on this track, especially the massive 0.4 mile long straight to 650 meter dash from turn 3 all the way to turn 4. Wind is going to be a factor today, because the wind is pretty heavy right now, so we'll see how that goes. It does provide a pretty nasty tailwind on some of these corners. I think in particular turns 1 and 2 and maybe 3 are going to get hit with this tailwind the most. But I mean, actually probably also turn 6. Turn 6 would also be a very tricky corner to navigate in these conditions, in this windy condition. But at least rain is the only thing that the drivers really have to deal with today, because there is no rain. According to the regular forecast, there was no rain forecasted, as we see some of these drivers make their first laps as Krager comes all across the line and comes down with the first lap time of the session. Berger will go ahead and jump up to 1.2 seconds ahead. So Inferno Racing now, their second team in Division 2, or team also running the Alfa Romeo, did switch up their livery for the remainder of the season. It is a very nice looking livery, I might add, but I think Brent was just getting ready for a lap. We do have some names that are a bit unfamiliar, at least to us here. Cloud is actually a driver. I believe this might be his first time in the Zeus GT League, but I know he did race in the F1 RL Race to the Top series, which is a very fantastic series if you haven't seen any of it yet. I'm not sure exactly when their next race is, but it is 90-minute endurance races in the KTM Crossbow, so it's really fun, but we will see how everything is gonna go. No, it is not Freeze, it is myself commentating. This is the new account that all the formerly Zeus GT League races, now HRC races, are going to be commentated from. So unless you're informing me that there is a bit of a stream freezing issue, which hopefully that's not the case, but we'll see how everything goes. How you doing, DK? I know you're also another driver that does compete in the F1 Race to the Top series, or F1 RL Race to the Top series, so it's always good to see drivers in other series pop on in. We have 8 viewers at the moment, so it is awesome to see you guys here. If you guys are brand new here, make sure you go ahead and drop a follow here, because this is the new streaming hub for all of the GT3 season races that will go on for the remainder of the season from Hammers Racing Community, formerly known as the Zeus GT League. Yep, Rise to the Top League and HRC. It's always good to see drivers from that series. I have a blast commentating for you guys over there. I mean, I will forever remember the Boeing incident that happened at the Streets of Willow last time out, but yeah, it's always a lot of fun. I mean, the Crossbow is a car that I absolutely enjoy, so it's really good to see those drivers. As we're on board with a driver who also has competed in this series, so Cloud is going to go and make his way through Sector 2. He's going into Turn 6 and now Turn 7. He's going to try to improve his lap time. His current best lap time is a 133.974. He needs to get to a 132 to get pole position away from the South African driver known as Berger. We'll see if he can go ahead and get things done here. He is on the trickiest part of the track. Now he's on turn number 10, going into turn number 11. I have a brake, I can't hear. Oh, that's an... Oh, good, mate. Yeah, sorry, I thought it was a bit of a stream issue. Got a little paranoid there due to, unfortunately, the last 2 weeks having a few tech issues when it comes to some of the GT3 races, which is unfortunate. So that does have me a little bit paranoid, but... Oh, it's an ad break. I get it. My apologies, chat. I also just saw it because I'm watching the stream via my phone, and I also get the breaks because I don't have Twitch Prime. So, yeah. Apologies for the little bit of paranoia there, but we are a good chunk of the way through. We're over halfway through this qualifying session. I believe we're down to the final 3 minutes of qualifying. So right now, Berger does still lead in that Inferno Motorsport Alfa Romeo. We're closing down onto the season. We'll see how everything is going to play out because there are still a lot of racing to go, and anything can happen here in the Hammers Racing community. Everybody gets to hammer down and magic happens. I mean, we've seen a lot of domination in the most recent times with Alex taking the last 2 race wins. And actually, I did make a mistake earlier on. The last round was not at Maggiore. It was at Sainte Croix, which Alex absolutely walked away with that one. If you guys have seen that race on the YouTube channel. It is an Inferno Motorsports 1-2 at the moment. The Alfa Romeos really liking this track. We know that the Alfa Romeos do have some really excellent fuel management, as well as being nimble because they do have a shorter wheelbase than a lot of the cars that it competes against on the regular basis. I think the only car might be a bit comparable to the to the wheelbase size of this car might be the Suzuki, which we don't have any of the Suzukis on the grid here, and we haven't actually for the entire season, which granted the Suzuki GR3 isn't exactly a popular one like this Mercedes is. This Mercedes has been a very popular car here. As we see the Mercedes duo, we're going to go on board now with Rantala from the Finnish GT Racers. I believe I got that correct. The Finnish duo in these Mercedes are going to go ahead and go for another flying lap here at the moment. So he's going to go ahead and put pedal to the metal now. Let's see what he can do. We're going to ride on board now with this Mercedes driver. Going into the very steep elevation change of turn 1, then navigating into the quick left-hander that is turn 2, and now he's about to go on to the 650-meter dash that is on the exit of turn 3, making the run up to turn 4. He may get a bit of a slipstream from Cloud there, the German driver in the AlphaTauri Lexus. He's going to go in and apply the brakes very nicely. Good brake balance here from the Finnish driver. He's navigating his way through turns 4 and 5. Now he's making the run down to turn number 6 and 7 as he goes ahead and tries to navigate this tricky second sector of this track. Now this is the most technical part of this track, and it's really easy to make or break your entire lap time here. He does have a car directly behind, that is the AlphaTauri car of Cloud, I believe, is still the car directly behind, or it might be his teammate. But we will see if he can go ahead and make an improvements. Just trying to look at his Cloud. So he's got only the last few corners left. Turn 12 is really the only other like true heavy corner, but it's pretty much flat out through turns 13 to 15. And here we go. Pedal to the metal. He's going to go in and turn up the heat, turning on the afterburners. Where's Rantala going to go? Is it an improvement though? It looks like it might be, but not quite by enough, I do not think. He's going to cross the line, hug that inside line. It is an improvement, and it's good for third on track. That is a fantastic time there for Rantala. Jumping up into P3 now. Oh, less than 2/10 away from pole position as we are coming down to the final 5 minutes of quali here. About actually 4.5 minutes, but yeah, I know Freeze is also known as FLX. He is racing in Division 2 at the moment. I know Division 2 has a very excellent racing. It's just unfortunate that we do not have another streamer or commentator at the moment to go over there and commentate for the intense action. I've commentated on some Division 2 stuff myself, and it is fantastic. As Rantala does go a bit wide there on corner exit. Now we're going to jump one position down to a car that's less than a tenth away in Mercedes X50, who is, ironically enough, not driving a Mercedes. He's in a BMW. And yeah, it's going to be, I mean, so for those of you who may not know about the recent changes that happened here with HRC, HRC is a merger between the Zeus GT League and the F1 Racing League, the latter of which is owned, or at least managed, by FLX, aka Freeze. He is a racer over in our second division. He is also the one who came up with the Race to the Top series. So that is why you'll see there's been a few changes, some changes that even caught me off guard, which was why there's a bit of a almost a late start with the stream, because I was actually unaware. It was announced, but I was unaware that we switched Twitch channels. So that took a minute to get set up here, but so yeah, it's a bit of an adjustment here for everybody, but I can assure you, whether you're a fan of the F1 RL or a fan of the Zeus GT League, the same amount of competitive action is going to remain. It is still going to be the same drivers going at it, and that is consistent. What is inconsistent, however, is the wind. This wind is getting it's getting heavier now as we're coming down to the final stages of qualifying here. Let's take a look at our current qualifying standings here. We have, once again, it's still the Inferno duo in first and second, followed by the Mercedes duo of Itkonen and Rantala in P3 and 4. And then we have TWR Mercedes, who is in the year 1, and that was a really funny visual of him just like teleporting through the field. And then we have Darth Vader, Chicken Curry, Venomous Venom, and then the 9 double P cars of Krago and Clemison, Newcomer Cloud, and Brent. But I mean, so far, this field is separated by less than a second to one car to the other. This is probably the closest in terms of like delta gaps that I've seen all season. I could be wrong, but it is very interesting to see all these cars so close together. No car is more than half a second away from the car in front. And I mean, Venomous Venom is in 8th overall right now, but he's only less than a second and a half away from pole position here. So we'll see how it plays out. We know this track doesn't like the soft tires a whole lot, so mediums are definitely the tire to go on for this race. And probably once we get to the actual race, you will probably see a majority of medium runners on the field, if not all of them. I'll do a quick tire check as we go ahead and get started here with race number 1, and probably race 2 is going to be the same thing. There are no tire rules aside from you need tires on your car, and they need to be racing tires. Although they probably wouldn't penalize you for running sports mediums in this series, but I mean, running sports mediums is a penalty in itself against your lap time, because the sports tires compared to the racing tires is not ideal for these GT3 cars. So I mean, unless you want to make a drift build, then possibly, but yeah, overall you're going to want those racing tires. As we're going to go on board now with the Exodus Motorsports driver of Venomous Venom. He's going to go in and put pedal to the metal now. He's going to go ahead and jump across the line. He is one of the 2 Exodus Motorsports drivers that are currently in this league. The other one is the race winner from last time out of Alex, who is in a Mercedes. So they're not on, I mean, they're part of the same organization, but I don't think they're under the same entry. I think both drivers are considered solo entries due to entering the league at different points. But yeah, so make sure you guys go ahead and drop a follow and subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is under the same name of the Hammers Racing Community. And yeah, today is going to be a really fun one. I mean, qualifying has been pretty impressive here. As we see, Craigo is done with qualifying now. Qualifying is done and dusted now. Berger is done. Muser is on a final lap, so we'll see if he can usurp his teammates as he does begin sector number 2. So I don't think, if he's not up in this sector, then he's not likely going to go ahead and improve unless Berger made a severe mistake on the last corner and Muser really takes it up. But I'm pretty sure that Muser wouldn't be too distraught about being overtaken by his teammate in terms of that, because I mean, it is a 1-2 front row lockout for this Inferno Motorsports group as it stands right now. And then a Finnish GT Racer second row lockout. So I mean, so far teams are locking out the front 2 rows of this session. And so yeah, and there's Freeze going ahead and giving some bit of an extra explanation about the name change of this current channel. But he's going to come across the line. We'll see Muser is going to usurp his teammate. I don't think it's enough. I think he's going to get close, but no Tamale. Nope, it is not an improvement. We'll see about Ikonen. Ikonen is done. Montala is done. So I think everybody's done. Darth Vader from the B&H Racing Team. He's going to come across the line, and it is not an improvement either. We'll see. Yep, that's done. Everybody's done. So now we're just waiting for the screen to pop up. So, alright, that is qualifying done and dusted here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go and take a look at your qualifying results. It's an Inferno Motorsports Alfa Romeo 4C front row lockout with Berger taking pole position by just 5 thousandths away from 3/10 flat ahead of his teammate Muser, and then he will go ahead and lead the 2 Finnish GT Racer Mercedes, who are both about a 3/10 and 5/10 down. And then we have TWR Mercedes from the Year 1 Esports, B&H's Darth Vader, and then we have Velocity Racing's Chicken Curry, Exodus Motorsports, Venomous Venom in the BMW M6. And then we have the 9PP duo of Craigo and Clemison, both in the BMW M6 GT3 Sprint model as well. And then we have the sole Lexus on the field, the newcomer, at least to the GT3 category, of Cloud in the Lexus RCF. Taking 11th place and rounding out our grid in P12 is ESP Brent in the lone American car on this grid. So that is the grid for today's race. However, there's still a second race here, so we'll see how it is going to play out. But once again, the results from the first race with the top 6 reversed does lead to our grid for the second race. So it is a double header here, so a bit shorter than we typically run, at least for a single race. So you get two 30-minute races, and actually we might be getting Alex in the start of race 1 from what I am hearing. That is a maybe. We will see if that does come to fruition, as he did miss qualifying, so unfortunately I am not super familiar with the rules in that respect. But we will see how everything is going to go ahead and play out. I'll be right back once we go to get started, but it shouldn't be too long. So don't go anywhere. Actually, if you do go anywhere, make sure you're grabbing a drink to hydrate yourself, use the bathroom, get some snacks, whatever you want, and get ready to sit down and enjoy two races with 18 laps apiece here around Interlagos, and we'll be back. Alright, there is an announcement from Race Control here that we will start the race in about 2 minutes time. 2 minutes time before we get going here with round 8 at Interlagos here. It is a doubleheader today, so this is only the first of 2 races that we have here on this fantastic circuit. Wind is currently 15.4 feet per second, going hard to the east. Typically when we see wind here, it is to a northeast or a southeast, but it is straight east this time around. So it is going to be 2 minutes before we go ahead and get started here. And I mean, I will go ahead and join Clemson in saying good luck and have fun to everybody racing here today. It is going to be a fantastic race here at the Hammers Racing Community in Division 1 for the H1 or H18 GT3 season number 4. And it is going to be cinema, as this division always is. And it is going to be green lights coming here soon, as we did hear the let's go, and the race is about to begin. The session is loading in. The final is about to start. Granted, not the final for today or even the season, but it is. We're about to get on track is the important thing. That is the thing you need to know the most, is it is about to be green on track. It'll be Berger leading us to green here, as we do have a rolling start here for Interlagos. Waiting for the sound to go off. Looks like a lot of these drivers are on that medium tire. Actually, quite a few drivers are on the hard tire, so about 3 tires on the hards, 1 on the soft, and everybody else is on the mediums. We're about to hear those 3 red lights going out. And it's lights out, and away we go. We are off here for the first race here at Interlagos, and it's a fantastic start here from the Alfa Romeos, but Ikonen is not too far behind. He's going to try to aim for a move, as we see all 12 of these competitive drivers coming down the first few corners now. Doesn't look like there's been any major contact between the two, which is always nice to see. Oh, we do have Craig going into grass, and there's already a big incident. A big incident there into turn 3. Let's go and take a look at it once again now. Here is Clemson now. Let's actually look at this from the driver POV. So, oh, he just lost it there, and then just, oh, collected Brent. Unfortunate there for Brent and also for Clemson. So they both have damage now. pretty severe damage. Oh, engine damage. That is a... I don't think I've actually seen engine damage or any kind of like actual mechanical fault in my entire time of commentating Gran Turismo. So that car is got some major damage now to the powertrain, and I wonder if that's Brent's race done and dusted. We'll have to check back in on the Dutch driver soon, but it looks like the Alfa Romeos have already started to pull away there from the Mercedes, and we know that the Mercedes is better on the top speed, but when it comes to these corners and this fuel management, then these Alfa Romeos are hard to really keep up with because they are so good on their fuel. Although granted, fuel management is not going to be a major concern for today's race because it is a doubleheader, so you're not really going to be burning up as much fuel. So we will see how it's all going to go in and play out for all these other drivers right now. But it looks like, once again, the Inferno Motorsports drivers are severely pulling away now, as Conan's already lost about 2 seconds to the car ahead. So we're going to actually... Oh, here's a battle. Rantala's under attack from Mercedes. The driver named Mercedes is attacking a person driving a Mercedes, as Darth Vader, who's having a really fantastic start here, he's going to go for a pass one, get one free here. He doesn't quite complete it, but it is pretty good battling that we're seeing here from this pack as we're on board now with the American driver from the B&H Racing team. One of the drivers or the sole Ferrari driver we actually have here in Division 1. He's going to go in and try to put pedal to the metal. He's just waiting for either Mercedes or Rantala to make a mistake. And then that is going to be a free position for him as he's just so close to the back of these cars. Venomous Venom kind of waiting for the same thing to happen. He did move up a position from Chicken Curry, I believe. So he is currently at P7. He's going to try to get a move done onto the B&H driver, but he backs off of it. He knows there's a better opportunity. He's going to have a slipstream here as we jump onto the hood cam now of this BMW from Exodus Motorsports, who's going to go and try to hook it, and he's going to try to send it around the outside. Is this move going to work? The two Americans are battling it out now, as it seems. No, it is not going to work out for Venomous Venom. He is still behind the Ferrari of Darth Vader. So we will see how it's going to play out. I think both drivers are actually running the Lewis Hamilton Ferrari helmet, so that's a pretty funny thing to note between these drivers. And Venomous Venom is going to be way late on the brakes, and he's going to get the move done. That's an excellent overtake there from the American, but the switchback is going to go ahead and happen. So Darth Vader is going to have that inside line, or sorry, he's going to have to try to overtake her on the outside as they go into turn number 6 on the circuit. Venomous Venom holding that line, and he's going to get the move done, but is Darth Vader going to have an answer? So this is a battle between mediums, but here's the thing though, Venomous Venom is using up those medium tires more than Vader is. And the soft tires are really not working out for Cloud here, so... I mean, it's his first time racing in this league, so we can cut him some slack. I mean, it's going to be at least better than my first race here at Hammers Racing League. Which is... yeah, it's a bit of an interesting topic about... Actually, it's not an interesting topic. We don't need to go into my sole race here as a driver in Division 1. Actually, I think it's still the only league race I've actually done. But regardless, these drivers are super talented, but it just takes time for drivers to find their feet sometimes. As Cloud is looking to find a position on the Chicken Curry here. He's going to try to send it up the inside. Oh, that's a very aggressive move with a little bit of bumping there. But that is the extra grip that those racing soft tires are going to go ahead and give you. So he's going to have that a bit of advantage for now, as once again, let's see if there's any other battles happening up this field. Mercedes did get past Rantala though. And wow, this Alfa Romeo duo of the Inferno Motorsports cars has really pulled away from Ed Conan now. The maneuverability of this 4C is coming alive here at Interlagos. And I can promise you they're making up that time, especially in Sector 2 from turns 8 through 11, the really tricky technical part of this track. They're just making so much time up on the Mercedes, and it is insane. to say the least. But Rotala's now actually under attack from Venomous Venom and Darth Vader. So once again, Vader is at the back of a battle where if one of these two ahead of him messes up, it's a free position, possibly two free positions there, as Venomous Venom goes for a spin. And the American driver just losing out a bit there. Let's go ahead and try to get a look from his perspective and just see what happened here. So, yeah, he just kind of lost it there. Kind of an interesting one to lose it on. So let's try that again from a different perspective. So here he is now. It just looks like he's just been a little squirrely ever since turn 10. And, yeah. That's a weird one. I've never seen that spin out really happen before. So that is a interesting one. Definitely one that Venomous Venom is going to be really kicking himself for. But TWR, once again, is still trying to chase down Id Conan now. Try to get a podium here. A podium here would do wonders for him in this championship battle. But we'll just, yeah, this field is kind of spread out a bit. But Cloud did get the place on to Chucky Curry. But once again, those racing softs are taking a beating here in this first race. So I kind of figured as much that these tires would struggle a bit, that these soft tires would struggle a bit, and that the mediums would be kind of the go-to tire for today on this track. I mean, this track it's not as tough on tires as Interlagos, that was a silly statement. It's not as much as Barcelona was what I meant to say. Or even some of the other tracks that we visit. I think even the Nürburgring, which is later on this season. I think it's 2 rounds from now, or maybe 3 rounds from now. So we do have the 24-hour layout of the Nürburgring coming up later on in the season. I believe it's right after Daytona, which is the next round of the season. So you guys will definitely want to go ahead and drop a like and subscribe. If you're watching this from YouTube, if you're watching this from Twitch, go ahead and drop a follow. So that way you don't miss any of these races live. And in the event that you do miss a race live, or there's a technical problem where there is no stream available, there will be a race replay recording that will be uploaded to YouTube, at least for Division 1. Division 2 is still trying to work on a solution for that. But let's go ahead and just try to look at some battles that may be developing here. Oh, here we go. We might have a battle here once again this is for 3rd place. This is TWR Mercedes trying to chase down a driver in a Mercedes of Id Conan. So Mercedes now trying to chase down a podium spot from Id Conan. We'll see if the Year 1 esports driver has anything to do, if he can do anything about this, because it is tough trying to make an overtake in this part of the track. So he's really going to have to wait till at least turn 13, 14, and 15 when it's really just all flat out for the most part, depending on what car you're in. Some of the street cars, or if you did the Hypercar Parade weekly challenge from last week, you may know that some of the cars don't exactly take the last sector flat out after turn 12. I was the unfortunate soul that decided to use a untuned 9/18 Spider for that, and turning was optional. But these cars can certainly handle this out flat out. Yeah, we were seeing it from Mercedes. We're seeing on this little gauge on the center just to the right of the speedometer. That is the throttle. It's a really good piece of telemetry for showing how much throttle is being used by all these drivers at all times. So you can see he's using partial throttle there. Not really using brake, but just partial throttle through turns 2. And full throttle through turn 3 now as they go on to the 650 meter long straight in between turns 3 and 4. Excellent stuff here as we are about a third of the way through this first race here, so a sixth of the way through today overall. A little bit more than that since the qualifying was already done, but in terms of racing laps, we're about a sixth of the way done. And so we're going to actually ride on board now with Id Conan. Now we're going to take a look at this rear wing camera from the Finnish driver as we can just see Darth Vader and Mercedes X50 just looming in the not so distant distance, ready to pounce if the Finnish driver does make a mistake. Mercedes now trying to make something happen here. He's getting really close to the back of that Mercedes, but just so far just hasn't been able to make an opportune move yet onto the Finnish driver, but Vader is waiting for his opportunity as well. We can go one car back and just see how close Vader is in that Ferrari. This is arguably one of his best results I have seen from the American driver. He must really like this track. I mean, this is a very fun track, so some drivers absolutely shine on Interlagos because it is a primarily high-speed track. Gran Turismo does still give it the mid-speed classification for balance and performance, which once again, balance and performance was affected very heavily at the very beginning of our season when we were doing our first doubleheader at Laguna Seca, which there was a very slight BOP change in, well, actually for this update there's a super duper slight BOP change, but it really was not enough to really affect anything at all. I think it added 0.001 performance points to two or three of the cars. So interesting stuff here as Mercedes does get past it, Conan. He is up into the podium spots, and we need to watch that again. You may see a bit of a bluish or a black bar that appears on the screen temporarily, as I did have to actually reconnect my keyboard to try to get the replay to happen. So we'll see if we can. Nope, it's just a bit too late. Sorry about the folks. I'm not sure why the keyboard randomly decided to disconnect. We do apologize for a little bit of that black bar you'll see across the top left of your screen momentarily. It is just PlayStation censoring the notifications when it comes to the PS4 Pro. And if you're curious about why I am using a keyboard instead of a regular controller, and here's a fun fact. Well, before we get that, there's a fun fact that Darth Vader is making a pass onto Conan, who is, I believe, our current championship leader going into this race, and Vader almost made a move happen there in Sector 1, which is really impressive there. I mean, he is having a fantastic race compared to some of the races in the past. So we'll see if he can keep this form up into race number 2 later on today. But this is actually a pretty decent spot for him, even if he does get past Conan, because obviously, you know, you're going to want as many points as humanly possible. But even if he doesn't manage to get past Conan, but he does get past Conan, he is up into P4 at the moment. We'll get back to the keyboard talk here in a moment. But Vader right now is up into 4th place now in that Ferrari for the B&H Racing team. So that is a fantastic overtake. That was one that was definitely needed for the American driver. A very fantastic drive here from Vader. As we're going to go down the field a bit, and we're looking at Chicken Curry at the moment, the German driver, who does unfortunately have a half-second penalty that he's about to go ahead and serve. While you're serving that penalty, I will say that the replay functionality, as of now, is locked to a keyboard. So you need a keyboard, although for any budding commentator out there, or any streamer or broadcaster that wants to get into Gran Turismo and wants to learn the tips and tricks, I will go ahead and expel some wisdom to you. You can go ahead and get a keyboard. You can get a cheap keyboard from Amazon for like 17 bucks. It's what I did. It's a wired one that plugs right into my console, and it works. So if you want to get into Gran Turismo commentating and you're going to be the main one on the broadcast, just get a keyboard. They're cheap enough. You can probably get one for even cheaper. I just had to have an Amazon gift card from my alma mater, or in English, from my college that I graduated from. They gave me a $20 gift card for filling out a survey, so I went and bought in the keyboard, so that way I can bring you guys some intense replays that sometimes we might have missed. If we saw an overtake for the lead that we could have missed, we could rewind it back about 15 seconds and we can go ahead and just show you guys what happened. Hopefully they bring that to controller soon, because it is a really sick feature that this game has, and it's something that other platforms don't have. I mean, I know we kind of get onto Gran Turismo as the community for some of the things they do, which is rightfully deserved. Like in recent times with the updates, not having the cars that everybody really wants, although some people were actually really happy about the K-Track, but unfortunately you can't engine swap it. But what's Unfortunate for everybody else, but not for these two right now. It's just the amount of domination that is happening here with these two drivers in these Alfa Romeos. And we're seeing a pit stop actually from Mercedes. So TWR Mercedes is coming into the pits to change out those medium compound tires. So we'll see what he does switch to. It'll probably be another set of mediums, honestly. As we're at the halfway stage of this race. So we'll see what he does. Oh, he's going to get some fuel too. Not a lot, just a quick little splash. And also I see a comment saying that I am a fantastic streamer. Well, I have to fully attribute that to the fantastic drivers we have here at Hammers Racing Community. There has never been a boring race, whether it's from this current era where it's been Hammers Racing Community, whether it's the Zeus GT League, or even F1 RL Race to the Top. There has not been a singular boring race that I've commented on from this group. So in order for me to be a fantastic streamer, there has to be fantastic action going on track, and that is exactly what we have here in this league. So any credit you want to put my way, you got to give credit to these fantastic drivers that are taking to the track now, as we're about to see what could be a fantastic battle between Mercedes and Cloud. Those tires are going to be cold though, so those medium tires won't be as quick as they will be, but I mean, he's going to have the tire advantage because I am... Oh, Cloud actually did switch to medium, so he did make a pit stop earlier. So a few of these drivers are opting in for a pit stop, so I'm curious to see who's going to try to make it to the end. I'm sure these Alfa Romeos are going to very likely try to go to the end on this tire compound, and Vader is actually up into the podium positions now. So the American driver, although he'll start from 4th on the grid for the race, for race 2, but I mean, he'll still get those sweet, sweet podium points, and he's only going to be one position away from being in the podium spot again. He'll have Id Conan again for company if this race finishes as it started. So the top half, or the top 6 in this case, will rotate. So Rantala will start from pole position, and Berger will start from P6 on the track. And then it'll be Venomous Venom, and then the same going down from P7 on to P12 and P13, because we are supposedly going to get Alex into the lobby for a race, for the next race. He'll start from the back of the grid. He'll start in P13. But it has been a interesting race with some pretty interesting strategy. I mean, these double headers always bring in a good amount of strategy as well, because it's almost like a sprint race really, but just not quite. Because yes, it is shorter than our typical race duration, but you have 2 races back to back. So I mean, essentially, with the exception of the split or the flipped grid in the middle of the session, or which would be the second race, it is still the exact same race distance. So 2 races that are about half an hour, which would normally just be our regular 30-minute race or 60-minute races. We do have some 90-minute races though coming up later on in the season. Just going to go ahead and actually pull up the calendar and tell you guys what we all have in store for these next few upcoming races. Take a look at the calendar for the remainder of the season. We have 4 rounds left to go after this, 5 races, because we do have 1 more doubleheader in this season. We have Daytona, which is our next and final 90-minute race. So we have 2 90-minute races throughout the season. The first one is at the Circuit de la Sarthe at Le Mans, which was round number 4. And then next up we have the Daytona, which is not the NASCAR layout, not the oval, but it is the road course. Although I think it would be pretty funny to see these cars go around an oval. Actually, might petition that to the organizers for next season. Just throw an oval in there. Although for the most part, this and Brent is actually slowing down. He has been blue flagged, so he's letting those cars pass on through. He does have a 2.5-second time penalty, which is unfortunate. But before I get too carried away, back onto the calendar for next season. We also, or for the rest of this season, we do have the 24-hour layout of Nürburgring, which is a 7-lap race, but it is still 60 minutes because that is a 16-mile long track. I'm actually pretty much looking forward to that one. And then we have our final doubleheader at Watkins Glen, 14 laps apiece for the doubleheader in upstate New York. And then we have our final round And then we have a random round, or sorry, that is incorrect, that is a guide, but we do have our final round at Suzuka, which is a regular 30 lap race, 60 minutes roughly. These are not timed races. I say 60 minutes because that is what is used on the schedule to kind of give a guide to drivers for how long the race is roughly going to be. Some drivers may not be able to make it due to work, due to school, due to, you know, other reasons outside of their control, but I'm very glad that we have the drivers we have here today because these are all some very fantastic drivers. We're going to go ahead and actually do an onboard lap with our race leader, and we will be right back. Alright, so that was about a lap and a half actually with our current race leader of Berger now. I mean, these two have just simply dominated this race. There's a 16-second gap as we are down to the final 3 laps of the first race here of this doubleheader. But Conan did get past Darth Vader again pretty recently, as Darth Vader is making his way into the pits. He's going to go ahead and get a splash of fuel and also probably change out those medium tires. So I think overall, although granted the management on the Alfa Romeo is beyond insane, I think that the hard tires actually probably were the way to go for these races, and we'll see if there's any inspiration taken from other drivers going into the strategy for the next race, because the next race is the exact same amount of distance. It is still a 18 lap race around the circuit. So, and I think it's in pretty equal conditions. I think it might get a little bit cloudier, but once again, that hasn't really affected much. But also this wind, I mean, this wind has probably been the bane of a few drivers' existence. Actually, I think it's what it caused a few of the spin-outs earlier on, like what we saw with Venomous Venom. And I think Corrego might have also been blown a bit out of proportion in the early stages of this race. With that 16 feet per second wind here that is going through Interlagos, it feels nice if you're in that grandstand, but behind the wheel of these cars, it is nightmare fuel. Although granted, these cars are better about tanking some of the wind compared to some of the other cars that are used in competitive racing here on Gran Turismo 7. Like the Super Formulas, the Red Bull cars, the F3500, F1500, the go-karts. Those cars are really susceptible to wind, a bit more than these cars are at the moment. So the wind isn't going to affect them as heavily, but it is going to affect them. It's going to provide a bit of a tailwind going through this particular section here that Conan is driving through at the moment. Same with Chicken Curry. So I'm wondering if the hard tires were actually the tire to go on, as there's now 2 laps left in the race, and Oh, but ooh, that tire, that front. Oh, there's gonna be some bad understeer there for Venomous Venom. The front right tire is absolutely charcoal at this point. I mean, he's probably just gonna try to hold it on to the end, but he is gonna understeer a lot. And TWR, who's on a faster compound and a fresher compound, is chasing him down like a criminal at the moment. It is insane, just the tire life difference between these two drivers. And TWR, wow, the camera didn't even catch that. He just fired one up the middle and got him. We'll get that on replay. We'll actually watch it here from TWR's POV because the camera didn't even really catch that. He's gonna shake for the move. Venomous Venom applying the brakes and using a good amount of curve. The understeer from that front right tire, and he's through. Yeah, I mean, there's so much understeer that's going to be happening now, especially when trying to turn with that front right tire being absolutely charcoal at this point, because left-hand turns will be the trickiest, because it was pretty surprising to me when I first initially learned about it, but left-hand corners are the most abrasive against right tires, as we're seeing now. As this was a bit of a left turn, it was a bit trickier for Venomous Venom because that front right tire is absolutely flame broiled like a Burger King Whopper, just because of how damaged that tire is. And oh, the keyboard also got disconnected again. Apologies for seeing a little bit of the black screen here as we are on the final lap of this first race here, as Darth Vader does retake that position. But once again, it is a formation for these two. These two Alfa Romeos have absolutely dominated. 16.5 seconds to the car in third place. They didn't make a pit stop. They didn't need to make a pit stop. And so I think that this is definitely the team to watch out for, as they're going to try to race in formation, as I think Muser was trying to make an overtake onto Berger there. They're both actually just racing now. Muser does take the lead on this last few corners now. They're coming out turn 12. It's going to be a drag race between these two Alfa Romeos. Who's going to get it here? It's going to be close, but I think Muser might have pulled off the move at the last time, but it's going to be a slipstream. The two cars are going side by side. This is a repeat of a Spa happened because the cars are coming so close together, and it is by 6300ths of a second. Muser wins and takes victory. It is a dominant 1-2 there for the Inferno Motorsports Alfa Romeos, and that is fantastic stuff here. Conan coming home in third place, about 16.5 seconds behind, and man, that gap is insane. So they kept in formation for pretty much the first 17 laps of this race, and then lap 18 they were just given a go-ahead to just send it on the last lap to see who could get it, and Muser comes out on top. So he will start from 6th on the grid, and then going from P6 all the way to P1 for the next race. It'll be Muser to Berger to Ikonen to Chicken Curry, Rantala, and then Mercedes will start from the front of the field in the second race due to the grid flip. We will go over official results here momentarily, but I think everybody is mostly done. I think everybody's done now, so we can actually go through the results now. So Muser and Berger, the Inferno Motorsports car, come home in 1 and 2 here. And now we have Conan coming home in P3, 16.5 seconds behind this very dominant Alfa Romeo pair. And then we have Chicken Curry in P4, Rantala P5, Mercedes P6, Vader P7, Venomous Venom P8, Cloud in P9. And that was all I could get to before this change. But your winner of the first race is the Barbie man right there. Muser does take the victory here. He took it on the last lap. And we're going to go and take a quick look at the results here real quick. So it is Muser to Berger to Ikonen to Chicken Curry to Rantala. TWR Mercedes, Darth Vader, who did get the fastest lap of the first race with a 1:32.568, followed by Venomous Venom rounding out a top 8. And then we have Cloud, the 9PP squad of Crago and Clemison. And then Brent, who suffered that very early incident on the first lap, is down 2 laps, coming home in P12. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for the first race. But fear not, we have a second race ready to go for you here. So Brent has actually left the room. Not sure if that was a disconnect or not, but we do have Alex here, so it's going to take a bit of a moment to get this grid set up because we do have to do a grid switch, so we do have to reverse the grid. So we will be right back here momentarily. All right here, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to go ahead and get going here. It is about 2 minutes until the start of the second race here of today. It is going to be fantastic racing here. So, I mean, the first race was pretty good. We saw some pretty good moves here around Interlagos. That's the beauty of this track. I mean, I know Brazil doesn't have the best of reputations, but their drivers and their tracks are pretty solid, and Interlagos is no exception. Interlagos is arguably one of the most enjoyable tracks to watch and to commentate on, and I'm sure for these drivers it's one of the most enjoyable to drive on. So although unfortunately I do believe we have lost Brent for the remainder of the race, and Alex will, I mean, Alex was going to be here anyway, but Alex will be taking his spot metaphorically on the grid tonight for race number 2. Now, he dominated Sainte Croix last week, and so we will see if he can go ahead and pull that domination again. He will be starting from the back of the grid though, so it's not going to be an easy task. But that is the beauty of racing. We will see what can happen here. Anything can happen here. It does look like it got a bit darker outside, but it looks like it's more of just like the time of day has changed a little slightly. And there we go. ladies and gentlemen, strap into your seats and get ready. Make sure you have your beverage and your favorite snack of choice, because it is gonna be go time here for the second race at Interlagos, the second part of this doubleheader here in Sao Paulo, Brazil. And Mercedes will lead us to green here. He'll start from pole position because of the reversed half grid that we do here, very similar to what Formula 2 does in their races. So here we go. The cars are going. TWR Mercedes is going to lead us to green. 3, 2, 1. And it's lights out and away we go. Once again, it is going to be a scramble down here towards the beginning of the lap. Coming down into turn number 1. Mercedes is going to hold that lead. We'll see if there's any other damage. There was a bit of a drama last time here. Looks like Clemson did get a little score there, possibly on exit. Alex is already up 2 positions. Alex is up in the P10. He got ahead of the 9PP squad of Crago and Clemson. So he is now up in the P10. He's going to try to chase down Cloud now. We'll see what the German driver can do. Back up to the front of the field though. Mercedes is leading this pack still. He's got a pretty decent lead, about 7/10, about 3/4 of a second now, as we're seeing some scraps up and down the field. So far, I don't think any of these top 6 positions have really swapped around. I think there's some moves potentially going to be made, but nothing official yet. As Chicken Curry is going to try to go ahead and make a move and get up into 2nd place. Now, Rontala is on the hard tire. And Berger is going to break late compared to Kona, but can he get the move done? The Alfa Romeo is a fraction of the size. The 2 Alphas trying to bully this Mercedes into losing spots, and that is our first position change up into this top 6. As we see, Berger is now up in the P4. And, well, there's one Alfa Romeo in front of him. Now there's another one behind him, as Muser, the winner from the first race, is going to try to get closer and closer to try to make a move now onto the finished driver. Let's see if Muser can go ahead and try to get the move done. Muser trying to pull around to the outside of this Mercedes. Can he get it done? He does get it done. He brakes later, but is there going to be a switchback potentially happening here between Muser and Ikonen? But it doesn't look like it. It looks like Ikonen just lost another position to this Alfa Romeo duo. And speaking of positions, Alex is already up in the P7. So he started from 12th on the grid and he's up in the 7th. He is already making up some fantastic time here, the German driver. Now, there's a lot of talk about him potentially being a really solid championship contender in this series because he's done super well. He's never been off to the podium ever since joining this series back at round 4 at Croatia in Dragon Trail Gardens. So Alex has been making up quite a few positions now, and I think he's really going to try to make this championship, he's going to try to run and make this championship happen. We'll see what the German driver can do. Well, and we're going to take a look at this other German driver who's currently up in the P3 at the moment. Chicken Curry started in P3 to stay in P3, but now he's really got to fend off these extremely rapid Alfa Romeos. These Alphas have been super quick today. But Chicken Curry's been pretty good in the second race, as Mercedes has actually started to pull away here from Rontala. So the actual Mercedes car, the AMG GT3, is kind of been on a bit of a struggle here. It has not been the fastest car by a long shot, and it's under attack now from the sole Porsche on the grid of Chicken Curry. We'll see if Chicken Curry is going to try to make a move into turn 1. He decides, well, he's still going to try to position his car for a potential move. He does get it. Chicken Curry gets the move done. Fantastic work there from the German driver. Let's go and get that again on a replay, because the camera didn't quite catch all that. Chicken Curry is going to just try to hook it around here. And there we go. He's just got more speed coming out of the corner. Oh, granted, he is on that soft tire compound. So, I mean, it's going to be a bit easier for him to make the move stick compared to the other driver on the mediums. And Berger and Muser, in that short bit of time, they've swallowed up Rontala. We'll see if we can get that exact moment on replay there. So, oh, yep, they both just, like, they were in sync. Like synchronized swimmers out there. This Alfa Romeo duo. They're like the silencer from Hot Wheels Acceleracers. Just perfectly lined up and synchronized attacks and they're climbing up this ladder too. So it's a bit of an interesting, I mean, this is probably the team that emphasizes teamwork the most out of this field, at least for today, because I mean, these alphas have been on fire today. I mean, I know I say it a lot, but these alphas, and ooh, Alex has been knocked really far down the grid there, so he might have had an accident or something, which has dropped the German way down the field. I'm trying to see if anyone else is damaged to kind of give it a bit of an indicator. Maybe not. I'm not seeing damage on any of these cars here at the moment. So we're going to actually take a look at this battle. Clemenson is going to try to make a move onto Cloud. The BMW trying to make a move onto the RCF. The RCF is on the hards though, so he's going to try to go for a no-stop this race as well. It worked decently well for Conan, so we'll see if it can work now for the newest driver currently racing in Division 1. It's going to be full speed ahead for these drivers, and good slipstream there on Cloud. He's up onto the rear, almost in the gearbox of Vader now, trying to get up into the taillights and try to force him into a mistake, because that is something that you can do, although I think these drivers are pretty battle hardened, especially just considering that this is the 8th round of the season and I think the 10th race that they're doing. That might be a incorrect number, maybe race 10 or maybe race 11 because of the double headers. I could be wrong about that, but still, they've raced with each other enough to kind of know how they operate, as we're just chilling on board now with Cloud. The AlphaTauri Lexus RCF currently sitting at P9. Trying to chase down Darth Vader, who got a good podium, or sorry, who was looking likely for a podium at one point during the first race. And I think he actually did manage to get it. So yeah, no, I'm sorry, he did manage to get it. I am misremembering things. Recently moved into a new apartment, so my brain's been a bit foggy anyway, so I do apologize for that one, chat. But anyways, right now it's a battle here. But even if they get past Chicken Curry, which Chicken Curry is, he's on the soft tire, so he's going to have some serious pace, but even by that standard, he's been having a very fantastic race here, starting from 2nd place. But even then, Berger and Muser are going to have a tough time of it, trying to catch up and trying to get to TWR, who TWR right now is in a fantastic spot right now. He is up in the lead. He's got a 3-second buffer to the car behind, so he doesn't really stress out much, but he's on that soft tire compound. So maybe his strategy is going to be just try to get onto that soft tire and just really try to create as much of a gap as you can, and then at that point you'll give yourself a bit of a buffer when you come to the pit stops. Maybe a soft to soft is what he's thinking about here, although I'm not sure the softs can go to that distance, but we will see. I mean, we've seen some master classes of strategy happen this season. I mean, granted, I know the Alfa Romeos are ridiculous when it comes to management. As the 4Cs, one 4C gets passed, we'll see if the other 4C can do the same. Chicken Curry, oh, Chicken Curry is trying to get that position back, but just not enough time. And I think Berger being on the better tire at the moment, I mean, those tires look almost brand new. I mean, compared to the wear even of some of their competitors on that same compound, I mean, he's got better tire life right now than some of the hard runners do, which is very impressive. Because right now the hard tire is the tire that a lot of people are running, and Berger's mediums look better than some of the hards out there, so that is very interesting to note. Just shows you how much management this Alfa Romeo 4C is capable of. We saw it last week in Sainte Croix that these cars were just super good on their fuel, and they never really had to get, they didn't really have to take as many pit stops as some of the other cars had to. So it's been a very interesting race when it comes to strategy. I mean, strategy is about half your battle when it comes to these kind of races. So we're about a third of the way through, and we'll see how much is going to happen here, how much drama is going to unfold. But I mean, just taking a good look at the lap times, I mean, it's about almost a second in between Berger and TWR, at least in terms of lap time. So we'll see what this next lap is going to be. We'll see what the difference is there. Muser might try to go ahead and try to get a move done on the chicken curry. We'll see if the other Alfa Romeo can do that. Our winner from earlier on. TWR is going to come across lines a 134.205 versus a 133.067. So little over, actually a little under a second. So actually I don't know where I read 134. It's a 133 here for the British driver currently in the lead of our race, but about 7/10 roughly is that lap time. And I mean, you're going to come into striking distance in around 3 laps time if you keep adding 7/10 of a second each time. So about lap 10, if this pace does keep up and stays consistent, then it is going to be 3 laps time before Berger is going to catch up to Mercedes. But we'll see though. We'll see if that's the case. We'll once again compare lap times between these two again when it gets to that point. But looks like actually a bit back here, there's a bit of a battle going on. It is Alex who had an incident earlier on. He's up to P7 at one point in this race. He is now down to P9, but he did get past Cloud and Clemson. He was in 11th at one point. And now Alex is up some positions. He is up in the 9th now. And now we're going to take a quick gander back at this front field here as they're about to go ahead across the line. We'll see what the lap times are going to be for some comparison here. So taking a look at Mercedes, what is his lap time going to be? If it's a one, oh, he's going to come into the pits. We're not going to get that answer as Berger's going to take control of this race. And this might just be the Inferno 1-2 happening here because previously, once they got in the lead, they never really lost it because they were so good on management. They never needed to make a pit stop. And I wonder if it's going to be the same here in this race. Chicken Curry is trying to put up a mighty fine effort here to try to claw back second place. He could get a podium here, realistically speaking. He's going to have to make a pit stop, and I don't think the two Mercedes will have to, but I mean, maybe. I mean, it's going to be tricky, but a podium is possible. So Mercedes did switch over to the mediums now in his BMW M6. He's going to come out ahead of all the traffic, which is nice because sometimes battling with traffic can really hamper your race. As we're looking for a battle here, so the closest thing on track at the moment is Chicken Curry still trying to claw back to that P2 spot to try to disrupt another 1-2 for Inferno Motorsports here. We'll see if that's what's going to happen. Doesn't look like it though, just considering the amount of tire width that those racing softs have. So the softs are good in early stints, or maybe if you want to try to grab a fastest lap attempt, but right now they are not working on lap 8 out of 18 here as we're about to get to the halfway stage of this race here in the second race. And so we're about 75% done with the amount of racing here today. It's going to be coming across the line here very, very shortly. We'll see if he makes a pit stop. No, he stays out. So it is he's gonna go exactly half race distance on these soft tires at the least. But the management on these medium tires, I mean, it's crazy that the medium tire life is about equal to the hard tire life of the Mercedes, of the two Mercedes cars. That is a interesting statistic here. It's just, what is it about those mediums? Let's actually take a look at another medium runner if we can find one. I mean, yeah, Alex is on the set of mediums, but I mean, yeah, these mediums, I mean, just take a look at this. This is P9 right now as he's under attack from Cloud, who is on the racing hard compound tires, so he's gonna have a bit of a better tire life at the stage. But actually taking a look at Cloud versus Clemson, Cloud is gonna be later on the brakes. Clemson trying to make a switch back, but just loses traction under braking or on corner exit there. That is turn number 5. He just lost a little bit of grip on as they make their way through the tricky parts of sector number 2. Clemson going to try to get a move done as this wind has picked up to, I think, the highest or around the highest it's been all week. It is 18.6 feet per second right now going to the southwest. So some drivers, especially in this tricky sector, might experience a bit of oversteer and a bit of a tailwind. So they really got to try to keep that car dialed in and gripped up through this section here. And as they're about to go to begin sector 3, And once again, this is just Alfa Romeo domination here. Chicken Curry does go half race distance, and to make his pit stop, he's going to get off of those racing softs. He probably could go into another set of soft tires, I'd imagine. So we'll see what the Velocity Racing driver does. And while he's going to go ahead and make his pit stop, we're going to pop on board actually with, let's see, who can we go on board with? Pit stop happening here for the Porsche. Going to get a bit of a splash of fuel. He's going to go out onto another lap. And actually, let's go on board with, let's actually hop on board with the Mercedes of Ikonen right now. So we're going to do, actually we'll wait till he goes in and does this lap, and then we'll do a quick ASMR lap so you can just hear the V8, just a raw engine and game noise of the Mercedes and just the chill Gran Turismo music that appears in the lobbies. So I mean, these cars once again, I mean, it is once again, I mean, we're so far finishing the second race how we started the first one is with just the only difference between being was Ikonen was in third, but it is a Alfa Romeo 1-2 and a Mercedes 2-3-4. So front row lockout for the Inferno Motorsports Alfa Romeo team, and then we have a second row lockout for the Mercedes Finnish GT Racers team. Speaking of the latter, we're going to go and do an onboard lap with Ikonen, and we will be right back as Chicken Curry has disconnected. So that is our first retirement of the race. We'll just talk more about it here in a moment. But first, the ASMR from Ikonen. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back here. We're on lap 12 out of 18 here on the second race of the doubleheader. As we're gonna be back on, we're gonna go check out everything that's happened in the last little bit. Looks like there's a battle here for 10th place between Cloud and Mercedes. They're about a half a second apart. It looks like Cloud is trying to close that gap up, or he's getting the gap close to him. As Mercedes is on the fresher tires at the moment. He's on the racing mediums, and it's going to be a battle between the BMW and the Lexus trying to make a switchback happen. We'll see if there's a move that is going to be made here. Going to try to send it up the inside of turn number 4, gets it done and dusted. Simply easy for the British driver on the fresher tires, and he is up into P9 here at the moment. We did have one retirement from the race of Chicken Curry, and that's going to be a heartbreak there for the German driver because he was having a fantastic race here today. And then the disconnect just unfortunately forced him to retire. And that is our second technical retirement of race number 2. As we did have, why can I not remember his name all of a sudden? Brent, I apologize, Brent. We had Brent unfortunately have to leave the session due to some technical issues, so he is a DNS, or did not start, for race number 2. And then we have Chicken Curry, who also had a disconnect, and he'll have a DNF for a did not finish. But once again, it is Alfa Romeo domination here at Interlagos. I mean, this has just been a fantastic race for the pair of Inferno Motorsports drivers, but Alex is trying to make a comeback drive of the century. He was in this position before, but he got involved in some sort of incident, and unfortunately was just unable to. I mean, he's been recovering, but yeah, I mean, going from P12 to P1 is a tough race anyway, even without incident. But with an incident, that really just kind of put a damper on any efforts that you might have had on trying to claw back up. But he's made it to P7 so far. So we'll see if he can continue this pace. He's trying to chase down Darth Vader right now. I mean, this field is pretty far spread out. The closest cars together are these two cars. The two teammates of Frontala and Conan. There may be a last lap swap in terms of the Drivers' Championship, which I believe Conan still leads. The race results from round 7 aren't up yet, so don't have much to go off of, unfortunately, but Venomous Venom is going to try to close the gap, but he does have Darth Vader behind. These two had a fantastic scrap in the first race. We'll see if it's going to happen again. And Alex is going to be right there waiting to pounce if any of these two drivers make a mistake. Kind of the same position that Darth Vader was in previously. He was in a position to where if any of the two cars fighting up ahead made a mistake, then that was going to be a free position for him. Or potentially two, so we'll see how this plays out here. As Vader has closed the gap to Venom, but Venom does get a little bit of better corner exit. They're both on the hard tires. Venomous Venom is on a more worn tires than the car behind him, and we have 5 laps left to go in this race. As once again, Frontala and Conan are really close to each other. They're probably just going to remain in formation or just trying to work together like the Inferno Motorsports guys have, who are currently still sitting at P1 and P2. But still, once again, almost another 15-second gap to the second place car. I mean, these Mercedes, or sorry, to the lead. I mean, these Alfa Romeo guys have just been super strong this week. I mean, I'm sure they're not going to be complaining one bit about the result. As we see, Venomous Venom is still pulling away a bit there, but Alex has closed that gap quite significantly there to the B&H Ferrari. We'll see if it's going to be a position gain, and that is certainly going to be a position gain there, as Vader had a bit of a snap, which will cost him that position. We'll go ahead and try to get a replay of that if we can. So Vader right now is going to try to he's trying to get away from this hard charging BMW. And I just put a little too much throttle there on the exit of turn 5, so that really cost him that position. But Vader had another incident. Let's try to see if we can get that one on replay. Oh, yep, it's another spin for the American driver. And he's doing the right thing, waiting until the car to get past, so he doesn't have an unsafe rejoin. And Vader would just drop down to 10, which is unfortunate for the American driver. But very fortunate for TWR and Cloud, which TWR started from the front of this race and just one of the softs, which was not the sound strategy idea. So he is down in the 7th, about 6 seconds away from the guy in 3rd place, which is Alex, who is on the racing mediums. So we'll see. He's catching his Exodus Motorsports partner of Venomous Venom, racing under 2 different entries but the same team. So Alex in that Mercedes, we know he's been rapid. I mean, he dominated last round at Sainte Croix, and he had a fantastic race at Maggiore 2 weeks ago. Oh, Venomous Venom getting a little bit of a snap. Both cars getting a bit wide there on exit. And the Alex Revenge Tour is going to continue on. He's going to try to get past his stablemate of Venomous Venom here. This is the battle for 5th on the track. Venom started 8th, so he's up a few positions from where he started, but the tire wear on Alex's Mercedes is not going to be in his favor, but the hards aren't really in that much of a better condition. Alex is going to try to get that inside line. He's got the inside line coming out of turn 15. As we start lap 16 out of 18, he does get the move done onto the American driver. Alex is up another position. And so Alex is going to try to chase down Conan, but I think it's going to be a bit of a mission impossible there for the German driver. But from P12 to P8 is no small feat from the German driver. He'll be happy about that one. But once again, now this group has just really lost the sauce compared to the Alfa Romeos. I mean, you typically say that if the spotlight isn't on you a lot, then you are doing something right. And these Alfa Romeos certainly have. I mean, that is pretty intense in terms of just how much management these Alfa Romeos have. I mean, coming into this season, I wasn't expecting the Alfa Romeos to be such a dominant force here. Because if you remember back from the beginning of the season, it was the battle between the Hyundai Genesis and the Mazda RX Vision with My Team Esports and Inferno Motorsports, which Inferno did have a car change, but different drivers, so they did skirt out of the penalties. But yeah, it's been pretty much, I mean, we thought those were going to be the dominant cars because in the early rounds it was the Mazdas and the Hyundai's just really going at it, and now it's just Alfa Romeo domination. We thought that it could be Mercedes domination just because of how strong Alex and Ikonen were. And oh, there's a half-second penalty, which is not really going to hurt Berger's feelings any, as he's still going to have a very sizable gap to his teammate behind, and even more sizable gap to the other cars behind. But I mean, it's just crazy how much changes over a season. That was round one. We were kind of just going at it. I was losing my voice box with the intense battle between the Alfa Romeo and with the Hyundai and the Mazda into the bus stop chicane at Spa back in around February, I think it was February. It might have been actually March or April. Actually, I have to go back and look at dates, but that's from the beginning of the season. Now we're in May, and we're here round number 8 out of 12, and it is a completely different story. That is the Alfa Romeo being the dominant car right now. They've dominated throughout this entire weekend. Some of them have been at Le Mans, but I mean, on this track, it has just been Alfa Romeo domination. I wonder if it's going to be the same when we go to Daytona next week. So once again, this is your reminder to go ahead and follow. If you haven't already, drop a like and subscribe on our YouTube, where this entire race VOD will be uploaded afterwards. And yeah, this will be an interesting one to watch back. It is the final lap now of this race. Are we going to see a swap in position between the Mercedes drivers for the maximum points in the Drivers' Championship? Because Ikonen is in a higher spot than Rantala. The two Mercedes are driving in formation at the moment. So we will see how this race is going to unfold. No more super close battles here between any of these drivers here. It is still just between Rantala and Ikonen. We'll see if there's going to be a position change here. Berger still has the fastest lap of this race so far. Previously, it was a fight between the two Inferno Motorsports drivers that ended up with Muser getting the win here in race 1. But the second time, it has been Berger pretty much ever since he took the lead from TWR. He started in 5th place on the track today, got up to the lead, and pretty much just held it ever since. Berger's only got one more tricky corner to navigate, turn 12, and now it's flat out here. For the Inferno Motorsports driver, they have dominated this race weekend. The only thing they did not get was the fastest lap from the first race. But other than that, it has been a 1-2 for this Inferno Motorsports squad in race 1 and in race 2. Berger wins here in the second round of Interlagos here, round 8 of the Hammers Racing Community Season 4 of the H18 GT3 Series. And that is curtains here at Interlagos. Rantala is going to come home in P3. It'll be a podium. It'll be a P2, P3. And this is actually a really close gaggle of cars here. For P5 through P7, these two cars are all within a second of each other. So it'll be Alex coming over P5, starting off from P12. And then Venomous Venom will go up into P6. TWR Mercedes will come home in P7. Vader in P8. Clemson in P9. And then Cloud will come home in his debut weekend. He will come home in P10, and then Craigo will round out our finishing drivers here. He's only got one more corner left to navigate. He's got turn 15, and that is him coming home in P11. Chicken Curry did not finish because he had to disconnect, and then we did not start from ESP Brent in the Corvette. But that is the end of the race here. Your winner is that man right there, the Inferno Motorsports driver of Berger, and that is done and dusted. Once again, we're going to go ahead and take a look at how everything's shaped up, and it is going to be Berger and Muser take a 1-2 and fastest lap, a grand slam for them in this race weekend. The only thing that they did not get was the fastest lap from the first race, which was given to the driver in P8 of Darth Vader. But going down the list, we have Rantala and Ikonen, the Finnish GT racers, currently getting a second row lockout, and then followed by Alex, Venomous Venom, TWR Mercedes, the aforementioned Darth Vader, and then we had Clemson, Cloud, Craigo, and Curry, who had a DNF, and then Clemson with the DNS from earlier on. So once again, guys, that is it for us here at Hammers Racing Community. My name is Ruckus, and I was your host and commentator for today's doubleheader. We'll be back next week when we head to Daytona. We'll see you guys then. Take care, be sure to hydrate, and have a good week. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.